Yes, I know. Saving money seems very adult and very boring today. You're a teenager, and as you continue growing, you continue tasting that freedom that you have been craving for years. So why would you want to use your allowance or the money that your parents gave you or money that you got from a job you did by maybe teaching a friend or helping a friend with a homework into savings, if all you want to do is to spend that money on a new car, a party, a new phone, or eating out? But let me tell you that there are many reasons as to why you, as a teenager who saves even a portion of their money, will make for a very happy future for you. First of all, saving money sets you up for a more fun in your 20s and 30s. Becoming an adult with responsibilities, control, and rights is very cool. But you know what can really goof that up? Not having any money saved up to be able to enjoy your 20s or 30s while you work. Young adulthood is such an interesting time. Exciting, nerve-wracking, with a lot of opportunities, but a lot of responsibilities as well. By starting to save money right now will help you live with less stress in the future, because once you graduate from school and go to college and find a job, if things are tight and you need to pay for rent, food, transportation, and more, you will be working 8 to 10 hours a day to achieve that. But if you started to save and invest money in your teens, it could really help you have less stress while you are able to settle up, work, and continue saving and investing even more in your 20s and your 30s while you are able to have fun, go out with friends, and enjoy life. Because even though everyone expects us to graduate from college and work hard for the rest of our lives until we retire, it is easier to work hard, save, and invest a lot of money in your teens and in your 20s than in your 50s, because then you will not have the same energy you have right now to work, save, and invest money. The first and most important thing to save for is an emergency fund. As an adult, you have to pay for a house, a car, health insurance, food, and more. While you are working, you are fine because you get money monthly to pay off all those things. But what happens if you get fired or the pandemic starts like in 2020? Many people lost their job, and because of that, they were not able to pay for their houses, leaving them with no choice than to sell the house. But if everyone would have had an emergency fund, they would have been more than fine. But what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is basically a certain amount of money you have saved up for a long time that you can only use for an emergency, as the name says. But how much money should you have saved up in an emergency fund? Well, that would be around 6 to 12 months worth of expenses. So if you're already an adult and you live by yourself and you spend, let's say, $2,000 monthly between rent, your car, and food, then you need to have an emergency fund of at least $12,000 to $24,000. This is, in my opinion, one of the most important reasons why you should start saving money at a young age. Now, there is this guy called Warren Buffett who is, in my opinion, the best investor of all time. Right now, he's worth about $103.1 billion, but he did not achieve that from one day to another. Warren Buffett made his first investment in the stock market when he was 11 years old. By the age of 13, he was a paperboy and saved all the money he could. Then he graduated, went to college, worked, saved, and invested a lot of money. Later, he was able to own an investment group when he was 26 years old, and since then he has been investing and saving as much money as he can. Today, he still lives in the same house he bought when he was 28 years old, and he's 93 today. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be like Warren Buffett, as I differ in some things that we're going to talk about later, but this shows us the power of saving money. Because something that he taught us is that we should not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Meaning that once you get money, your paycheck or any income, you should first save and invest a portion of it and then spend the rest. You should not spend money you received and then if there is something left, you save it. Because Truly wealthy and rich people are actually really frugal. A frugal person is someone who lives below their means and does not spend a lot of money in cars, clothing, and all that just to impress others. Because the most important thing is not how much money you can make, but how much money you save. There's a very interesting book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I would recommend any of you to read this book. In this book, the author explained how most people fail to realize that in life, it is not how much money you make, it is how much money you keep. Because if there is a guy called Pedro that earns $40,000 a year but saves $20,000 a year, it is way better than Luis that earns $80,000 a year and only saves $10,000. Because in the long term, Pedro that saves $20,000 a year will be wealthier than Luis, even though Luis earns double the money. And this shows us that with discipline and constancy, saving money will be better in the long term. Now, remember I said that I differ in some things about how Warren Buffett spends and saves his money. Well, Warren Buffett is the kind of person that has a breakfast in McDonald's every single day. What he does, according to his HBO documentary, is that he checks the stock market in the morning, and if the stocks are up, then he orders a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. But if the stocks are down, he orders a cheaper breakfast. But even though this is what has worked for him, I believe that other than saving money, it is very important to enjoy life while doing it. I don't want you to believe that all you have to do is save money. Save everything you earn and that's it. No, I believe it is also very important to enjoy life. Enjoy the process while doing it by finding the value in things. Because even though I believe we need to live below our means and not spend money on unnecessary things such as a really expensive car or clothes, I still believe it is important to enjoy life. Once you decide what your goal is and where you want to be in the future, it becomes easier to work for it. It will be easier to save more money for that goal. For example, if you really enjoy traveling or eating out with your friends, include that on your monthly budget and save money for that. And then cut other unnecessary expenses like a new phone every year or a new $800 pair of shoes. Because something we learned with the pandemic, other than we really need to have money saved up in case of an emergency, we learned that tomorrow is never promised. And even though I believe it is very important to plan the future and work to achieve the goal you have, you should enjoy the process, because if you enjoy the value of the process and the value of things and value of getting there, you will get there faster. Now, something I wanted to talk about is that I know it seems pretty easy today to make and save money. We see all these YouTubers making millions and millions in a year and all these self-made millionaires, which let us think that it is really easy to get rich quick. But let me tell you that behind any billionaire or millionaire, there's a lot of discipline and hard work. For example, Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon, is worth $197 billion. But that did not happen from one day to another. He worked really hard in an investment bank, and then after he quit, he started a virtual bookstore called Amazon.com, which he has been innovating it a lot every year to get where is Amazon today. But the important part of his story is not how he got there and what he created. It is how he knew that even though he had a lot of money at the beginning, he could not spend it in unnecessary things. Many made fun of him when he used to drive a really old car, even though he was already a billionaire. But here is his answer.
At one point on Friday, Amazon.com's total stock market value surged past $30 billion, making it worth more than a major industrial company like Texaco. That didn't blow your mind when you read it?
Well, I think if you're asking for sort of an emotional response, I think it's very humbling, and it creates a sense of responsibility.
According to my calculations, you yourself are worth somewhere in the vicinity of $9 or $10 billion today. I only say that because I've got a follow-up question.
Okay.
What's with the Honda?
This is a perfectly good car.
At the moment, he was worth over $10 billion, but he knew that the most smart thing to do at the moment was to save and invest his money into his business to be able to continue growing as a person and his business, which is why he is one of the richest men in the world right now. Now, something I have learned the hard way is that there is a limit. There is just so much money that you can save monthly if you don't increase your income. See, building wealth isn't all about cutting expenses to save money. Even though that is very important, we really need to focus on increasing our income as well. Because as Grant Sabatier said in his book called Financial Freedom, A Proven Path to All the Money You Will Never Need, no matter how much money you cut back or how often you crash on a friend's couch or grab free food from catered company events, the amount of money you can save is limited by how much money you are making. And in my opinion, if we don't focus on increasing our income when we hit that limit, it will be a struggle to get to where you want to go next to achieve your goal. This is why we always hear about how the rich don't work for their money, because they make money work for them. While you save money, it is also important to invest that money so in the future the money could work for you and not the other way around. That will provide a passive income and will compound with years until you are able to achieve your goal and live off that passive income. So my point here is that you first have to set up your goal. Think about something you want to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years, what you want to do, what you want to have, or where you want to be. Then start working to achieve that goal and start saving money for it to be able to make the process easier. Start saving a portion of your money as much as you can every single day. Work hard for that goal, but most importantly, enjoy the process. It is going to be difficult at first to start saving money, but once you get into the habit of saving, investing, and just spending money on things that you really need, it will be easier and you will notice the power it gives someone to have money saved up.